With so many great and memorable scenes in Avengers Endgame, one of the ones we heard rumors about but we didn't know what actually happened was the appearance and the events of the original Avengers film playing out from a different point of view. Now, as it turns out, when they initially started to come up with the idea of Avengers Endgame, that wasn't even something that they wanted to do or were going to actually touch upon. When you look at the size and scope of Avengers Endgame, you start to get the idea that it's sort of a miracle that film works out and it's actually as coherent as it is, even with a few editing errors here or there. They were able to pull off something pretty magnificent. Now, when it came to making sure everything lines up, obviously the Infinity Stones had to play a huge role. And when we look back at Avengers Endgame, we know they went back to the events of Avengers 1, which, as it turns out, when they started writing the film, nobody actually thought of this. This wasn't even in those early drafts, and it wasn't something that was going to be a part of the film. Now, obviously, it worked out for the best that it was, considering there was multiple stones there in New York at that one time. And if you watch the film, obviously they were able to kind of twist the events around so that the Ancient One was there, kind of roll that into it and make it a lot easier so they didn't have to go through multiple different, time periods and locations to get a few stones. Everything just kind of converged in this one place, which honestly kind of worked out for the best and in their favor, even if it was accidental. And obviously, revisiting the events of that film has sort of put them in a weird position where they had to explain a few things that were going on. They had to build up things that we knew were going to happen and kind of, look at this event from a different angle, which obviously we see, which also opened them up to adding a few new elements in there, like Loki escaping, for example, which literally led to so much demand that they were like, well, I guess we're going to make a Loki TV series. And then exploring other aspects, of what was happening during that time, other characters making appearances, and obviously foreshadowing events in a different sort of light, if you will, where we see, Captain America enter the elevator and it's played out different, which then makes me believe that when they said, this wasn't an idea, we're actually going to sort of see this pay off down the road, because there's plenty of things that happen that are now altered in that timeline that could lead to a what if, which is why I think, they're talking about it in a sort of weird way whenever asked about it, because I think many of these ideas are going to get explored, which is why they won't elaborate on them further.